Hey guys, this is John here in Los Angeles with the Alpha Channel update for Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. Today we have Descender number 5 by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. And I am pleased to say that today there's both examples of great art and great writing in this comic. Not awesome great writing, but there's some great examples of good writing. He does some very cool stuff. I don't know if he redeems himself for the concept. I suppose that remains to be seen when we finish the book. And you know what else? I love reading a new comic, a virgin comic. Like, there's something about reading a comic that no one's ever laid their hands on. And this Descender series is new. I bought these complete run. They were new. So here's the beginning. This is Driller and Tim and the rest of the crew. They have all been taken captive by the Niche. And here is Telsa and Dr. Kwan, and they're being brought before the Niche High Command, for lack of a better term. Look at these character designs. The watercolors. I still wish they had hired a traditional inker. I really do. But that's because I'm prejudiced. This is great art. And also I want to take a moment to apologize for yesterday. I was really kind of out of it yesterday. If you guys saw yesterday's episode, you saw that I was very keyed up. Today things have calmed down quite a bit. So today we're going to take a closer look at this. And one of the things that's going on is that Tim has been having dreams, which, as we all know, robots can't do, but nonetheless it happened. And not only that, it happened when he was dead. So he had like an afterlife vision. Generally, he doesn't dream. Generally, the Tim robot has not reported dreams, even though they put him to sleep every night when his boy Andy would go to sleep. It's funny that his boy was named Andy too, like Toy Story. And so, what's going on here? This is the UGC command. This is Telsa's father, the redheaded girl with the asymmetrical bob. This is her father, and they're negotiating about what to do about the harvesters and the Niche and all the problems that UGC has, because you know when you get a large group of people together, no one ever gets along. Here is one of the moments that's really cool though. So this is Telsa's father. He's a general. He's being told that his daughter's been kidnapped or being held hostage by the Niche. Hold on. And this guy, with the blonde guy, is telling him, this character is in the background and she overhears it, and she's a bot. And she reports this to the other bots and says, long live the high wire, or something like that. And then like basically shorts out. So the robots have not all been genocided. There are robots in disguise among the human population. And for the last decade, they've been, working in secret, like the 47 Ronin. So here's Tim and the others, and they are being sent to gladiator pits for the BattleBots. Because of course you'd have BattleBots. You have to have BattleBots. That's the whole point of BattleBots. Oh, this is not Tim. This is Tim here. But what's happening here, so earlier on, when they first land and they meet the High Command, Lord Pigling, tells them that he's going to rip Tim apart to find the secrets to the harvesters. He says, oh, I know exactly who you've got, and I'm going to rip him into pieces until he tells me the secrets I want to know. It turns out they didn't mean Tim at all. They meant Dr. Kwan, because they believe that Dr. Kwan knows the secrets of the harvesters. That's not the great writing. The great writing, it's kind of good, but the really great writing was this bit with Rachel from Blade Runner committing suicide. That's just genius. That's just genius. And then this, okay, so what they do here is, it's a nice deflect, but it's a little contrived. I notice these things because I'm a writer, because I use them myself. These are all the same things. And what else I'm noticing, so I've been doing a chapter a day, and when you're writing for someone else, you're writing as soon as it's done, as soon as that chapter's done, it has to fit with everything that went before. You don't get to go back and edit. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm writing a story with very limited editing. I get to go back and change a little bit Because thinking about it, what if this was handed off to an artist who's going to then go turn it into work? You can't go back and rewrite a chapter. I heard yesterday that someone, some publisher, I know we're getting off track, but this is worth it, refused an Alex Toth book because there were extra pages and it didn't get published, and they basically fired him from the book because he drew more than could be fit in the agreed upon pages with the publisher and the advertisers. He basically screwed up the whole book by including extra pages. So here we have an Alex Toth, I mean, one of the greatest character designers and just early Hanna-Barbera animator artists of all time. Space Ghost, the Herculoids. So here Dr. Kwan is being tortured and they're going to get the secrets from him. And they just straight up take an arm. Full page radial saw to the forearm. Boom. You're down a limb, bud. Then they said you want to go to the legs. Meanwhile, they're leading them into the BattleBot arena. And they're sent to the front of the line. So they're going in next. And even though there's a human with them, they don't care. They're like, well, what are they going to say when they see the blood? Don't worry, it'll be too late. That's good writing. That's good writing. You just solve the plot holes. You draw attention to the plot holes and solve them with a single sentence. And so here we have the fight starting. And this, look, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. And watercolor's weakness has to be, this looks impossible. I love the white contour lines, how he did white contour lines with, I don't know if he did with pencil afterwards. I hope he did. But I suppose he might have just left space with the watercolor. I think he just left space. That's God level. Look at that. That's just left space. Look at all of that. The white lines is just where the watercolors didn't touch. Man. So they cut off Dr. Kwan's arm, and he admits that he doesn't know anything and that he's a fraud. And that he didn't make up the Tim design. He stole it. So it's still possible that the harvesters, their code got somehow read by this human and put into a commercial bot, and they found out and came investigating. And here's images doing a letters page. I didn't read it. I've never been in the letters pages. Plutonia. But I do love watching the guys draw online. This looks cool. So these group of kids, their friend has gone missing. They don't know where he is. He ran off into the forest alone. And they find his phone. And when they finally do catch up with him, he's found a wounded superhero. That looks like a cool story. Looks like Michael Avon Oeming sort of drawing style. I didn't look to see who the artist is. But it does look like Powers. Special preview. Jeff Lemire, Hemi Lennox. So, I don't know. This is a decent comic book. I'm building a growing, grudging respect for the fact that these writers have artists breathing down their neck and they have to keep churning out chapters that mesh with the chapters that have already gone by. And if you didn't plant an Easter egg in the chapter back there, you're not going to have it in the chapter up here. You better use a flashback, which is what flashbacks are for. So yeah, Lady Soul, ambition and drive. The necklace, the hair, the dress, the long rod in her hand. So yeah, today's episode, as always, is brought to you by Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox, my two 13-hour audiobooks here on YouTube. Working on a new one. We've got a comic book for you guys in the description as a PDF. You can check it out. And also, in the last couple days, I've come across a couple things. And I'm starting to get a little bit of a sense of how it feels to hear myself run off at the mouth and say probably contradictory things from one day to the next. And I chalk that up to being a logistician on the left side of my brain and an artist on the right side of my brain. And that's, it is what it is. So I reserve the right to be a hypocrite and to contradict myself. That said, so I'm at two sides. Like, one side of me wants everyone to be friends, all sing kumbaya and get along. The other side of me wants justice for all the wrongs that I feel have been done over the last 60, 70 years that no one's been held accountable, and things are even getting worse. So how do I balance that? And I've discovered the way to balance that is keeping busy. And it works really, really well. It lets me deal with the problems that I can solve, and I don't have to address the ones I can't solve. I did come up with a clever statement the other day that if you want to fix the world, if you want to repair the world, pay great artists obscene sums of money to do stories about love and friendship and virtues and values. If you want to fix the world, that's how. If you want to lose weight, eat less. If you want to make the world a better place, pay great artists obscene sums of money to inspire people. That's all there is to it. If you don't want to do that, if you want to have fighting and strife, keep up with the racism and the division and the white people are the problem and blacks are stupid and, whatever you want to do. Even though those things are true, those things can be true and we can still get along at the same time because our paths really don't cross that much. The way things are these days, I don't have to have an opinion about every little wannabe gas station criminal, you know what I mean? And I don't care what their opinions are about white collar criminals either, because I'm not one of them. And if you're not a criminal, I don't have an opinion about you. So I do think in the future, if we're not very careful, the populace at large will forget how to read and write. I see that in believe me, the power goes out, that's going to happen in a generation. In a generation, you're going to have stupid people who can barely speak. So get ready for that. That's if the power and the money goes out. Even if we keep the power and the money, you could still have people become increasingly illiterate. If you get the robots to do all the work for you, like, this book Descender, get the robots, get UBI, I guarantee you, a lot of these people will not get past the second grade education. They're not capable of it on their own. They need, literally to be whipped, to be forced to learn to read and write. And there's some people like that of from every area on the globe, however, you want to say it. So two sides of me. One side of me is the side that works hard, that gets rewards, that wants to be friends with everyone. The other side of me is the side that is the disciplinarian that says if you don't eat your meat, you can't get your pudding. How can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat? So yeah, work out, read and write, draw, do some artwork, exercise, do everything you got to do. I promise you. Look, now I feel like a dickhead because I'm coming up on that saying from the Rothschild who said, you'll own nothing and be happy. I don't know if that's a Rothschild or if that was the Klaus Schwab guy. But look, this is the important part. Money will not make you happy. Yes, it is easier to be rich and unhappy than it is to be poor and unhappy. But money will not make you happy. Money will just magnify the problems you have not addressed. Because once you remove all the problems that you haven't, once you remove the money problems, now you're supposed to level up as a person. Now you need to be that better person. You need to have more charm and grace and civility and understanding and empathy. That's the game. If you want to level up, you got to level up. You can't be, everyone hates a rich jerk. And, well, everyone hates jerks at any level. So they have a little bit more empathy for them when they're struggling. A little bit. Not a lot. But we're all struggling, so why make it harder on everyone? Yeah, do good art. Do good art. Doing good art will change your life. See you guys tomorrow.